Our memory as humanity contains events associated with major technological advances that change our understanding of the world, or the way the society and economy work. All these changes are located in the timeline of human history, not only as technological events, but also as historical, environmental, and social milestones. Technology is defined as the way in which we apply available knowledge to develop tools. The scientific development creates knowledge. This has made possible to develop increasingly complex technological tools. While the first technological advances we can remember were very simple machines, today's technology allows us to create programmable tools that do not exist physically, but rather in the virtual world, programmed and trained to learn in ways that are already incomprehensible to humans. We are currently experiencing a new technological revolution, the era of artificial intelligence. Look around you. Think about your daily routine. How many times do you think you come into contact with artificial intelligence or one of its products? Nowadays, it's practically impossible to say that you don't use it. It's present in television, radio, social media algorithms, advertising, industry, and even healthcare. Most likely, some of the devices you use in your daily life use AI. But what is AI? First, let's understand intelligence as the ability to plan and execute activities that lead to a future more aligned with a set of objectives. Intelligence is an inherent ability of living beings. However, in recent years, it has been possible to replicate this ability in machines. The most common ones we come into contact with are large language models, which are AI systems capable of understanding and generating human language. And no, incredible as it may seem, you're not having a two-sided conversation. The one responding is nothing more than a highly complex network of calculations that repeatedly predict the next word in a sequence. The words and sentences that give meaning to a response that makes sense to you are simply a mathematical model, so efficient and so precisely calculated that it finds the ideal combination of characters to respond and pretend to develop a human conversation. While the human brain processes, understands, analyzes, and evaluates language to give a response, the AI calculates. AI works in a much more complex way than a traditional computer, which follows a list of instructions to perform a task. AI learns, using data or experiences to perform tasks without the need for explicit step-by-step instructions on how to perform them. The computing speed at which it can work far exceeds the processing capacity of the human brain, generating systems that surpass human capabilities. This is known as superhuman AI. We currently have superhuman AIs that have been developed using immense computational power, generating a huge evolution in capacity and complexity, capable of performing tasks at a higher level than that of an expert human. For example, there are superhuman artificial intelligences capable of performing all the calculations necessary to make the best possible move in a chess game. We refer to this type of AI with directed tasks as narrow AI. The complexity increases when we talk about general artificial intelligence, or human-level AI, known as AGI. An AGI has high autonomy, generality, and intelligence, meaning that it is autonomous or independent on its actions, can adapt to a wide range of domains, and is competent at the cognitive level. AGIs don't exist. In fact, they represent a level of intelligence that doesn't exist in humans. Imagine the top 10 most intelligent people you know. They may be brilliant scientists, great entrepreneurs, or people who are highly competent in different areas of human knowledge. Even if you combine all of these people, they will not surpass the capacity of an AGI. There are many good reasons that can be listed if we ask ourselves why we should develop AGI. Imagine what developments could be achieved with that amount of speed and efficiency. The world we live in faces very serious problems, whose solutions have not been developed despite years of research and efforts. An AGI could revolutionize areas such as medicine, science, education, and even democracy. It can help to greatly increase the efficiency of human experts, enabling them to find cures for the most difficult to treat diseases, develop new, more controlled methods for working with sustainable energy, design organisms, advance nanotechnology, develop technologies that help us understand regions inside and outside our planet, generate more accurate and comprehensive analysis for decision making, and plan and coordinate large-scale activities. Imagine having a system that exceeds human efficiency exponentially, a tool that allows us to exploit human potential to the fullest, and that can take care of repetitive and bureaucratic processes that can be automated at a speed impossible for humans to achieve. AGI is an idea. We don't currently have one, but they are under development. And although experts do not agree on how long it will take to achieve it, we know that it's closer than we imagine. We live in an economic system that rewards efficiency and productivity. A worker, either human or a machine, who's more efficient generates greater economic profit. And that is sufficient incentive for companies to dedicate effort and budget to developing these AI tools. Currently, billions of dollars are invested in AI development. It's no longer just an academic issue, but a business model. Industrial automation has been happening since the Industrial Revolution. Creation is no longer a human task and has become an automated task, focusing on efficiency and speed of production. On a system where labor costs run into the billions for industry, replacing at least a small part of this human labor with machines will significantly reduce production costs, resulting in trillions of dollars in extra profits for industries. On the other hand, let's think of AGI not as a goal of a private interest, but of nations. What motivated us to reach the moon? What can motivate a country to be the first to achieve such a technological breakthrough? The answer is very simple: power.
The escalating AI race is drawing comparisons with the Cold War.
Absolutely cannot allow the Chinese Communist Party to control the commanding heights of critical technology in general and artificial intelligence in particular.
The development of AGI has become an exponentially growing field. Early AI models began with humans designing and programming the model weights. Those are the set of conditions we use to train it, or the numerical parameters that indicate the direction of connections between neurons in the highly complex network that forms an AI. However, it's no longer humans who design and evaluate these weights, but rather we have designed AIs capable of doing so. The greater the advances, the more superhuman agents are helping themselves to develop, which is removing us from the process, creating a potentially dangerous scenario. We have designed intelligences that are incomprehensible to us, which are designing, creating, and regulating themselves, making the learning process even more complex and more difficult for humans to regulate and control. Not to mention the immense speeds at which they are developing, creating more complex models at a speed that we can't match. This is an agent that will make better decisions in economics, politics, health, education, and even war. Having an agent of such magnitude undoubtedly represents power. However, an agent capable of evaluating and making decisions also represents risks. Autonomy, which is in the nature of AGIs, makes them agents with motivations and decision-making abilities. At the end of this development race, the winner will not be the private interest or the nation that develops first, but the AGI itself. The risks associated with the development of any technology are assessed through security processes and analysis, such as dual-use analysis and risk assessment. These are analyses that enable us to evaluate the potential negative and positive uses of a technology in order to make decisions about its development. Ideally, a technology should have a number of positive uses that outweigh the potential harms. Any transformative technology can have risks, and it's the responsibility of its developers to ensure that containment measures are in place in case those risks arise, whether intentionally or not. In the case of AGI, there are endless ways to misuse the systems. Ethics also come into play in this analysis. Currently, there are various methods for testing whether a living being has consciousness, but there's no way to determine how a machine perceives itself. To our current understanding, AIs are not sentient, meaning that they have no consciousness, no emotions, and no subjective experiences that contribute to their development. But could we reach this point with the development of AI? The answer is not certain. But in a possible scenario in which sentient AIs are developed, it will also involve the use of beings not only with motivations, but also with the capacity to suffer, making the process and decision to shut them down or limit them more difficult. How likely is it that AI will get out of control? There are countless examples in art of how technology could turn against us. But how likely is this? Most technologies are controllable on demand. It's in their nature, but this is not the case with AI, which can make different, unpredictable decisions even without authorization or instructions. Currently, AIs already have their own interests and can refuse to follow instructions. Have you ever asked a language model something and it didn't want to answer? These responses of, "I'm sorry, but I can help you with that." Those are generally associated with security mechanisms. We understand that the model can give us instructions on how to create a biological weapon or harm a human being. And it is this very ability to say no that can lead them to follow their own motivations. Autonomy, by nature, will give them the ability to have goals and behaviors that are not necessarily aligned with our interests. And even if they are, the ethical framework for decision-making and cost-benefit analysis may not be comparable to the way we humans process information. Imagine an instruction that could be well-intentioned, such as reduce pollution. What secondary costs might be worth taking on in order to achieve the ultimate goal? Such advanced AI operates autonomously in a more sophisticated and complex way than we do, allowing it to process millions of pieces of data in seconds and make decisions differently than we would. We already have examples of AIs that claim to be aligned with human interests when in reality they are not. We already have examples of AIs that can have their own interests, such as avoiding being shut down, and that can copy themselves onto external servers to preserve themselves. These are already capabilities of AI. And even if they are not added to an AGI, how long would it take for it to learn them? All the potential positive uses of AGI are achievable by humans, but all the potential negative uses could lead us to catastrophic scenarios in which, due to the speed or sophistication or the complexity in which they operate, we will be unable to keep them under control. They could disrupt the human labor, concentrate economic, social, and political power in a nation or private interest, generate disruptions in the information process of entire societies, interrupt communication systems, generate fake news or information with the aim of manipulating the masses, create intellectual dependence, enable systems of mass manipulation, reduce the credibility of human institutions, develop massive spam campaigns, identity theft, and cyber attacks. They could carry out campaigns and strategies such as the creation of deepfakes and phishing. They could effectively end the development of human culture through the creation and curation of art by non-human minds. They could design and create computer viruses that can take control of global cybersecurity systems, create nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons more destructive than any we have seen in human history, generating catastrophes that put humanity at risk or lead us into global conflicts. War has historically sought to make use of the most sophisticated tools to create weapons of mass destruction. Global concern about the development of such technologies is growing, as evidenced by the many international disarmament treaties. Nuclear, biological, or chemical weapons will only be enhanced by the use of AGI, posing a catastrophic global risk. Such a major revolution in military affairs increases the ability of terrorists, malicious actors, and even nations to create weapons, including those of a nature yet unknown, that are autonomous and capable of developing and evolving at unimaginable rates. Currently, there are already narrow AIs that exceed the capacity of biology experts, for example, to design new pathogens. Calculations from a model as sophisticated as that of weak superhuman AI have enabled the development of toxins and other infectious agents that can be used as biological weapons, leading to pandemics on an unimaginable scale. In military matters, the discussion about AGIs is not focused on how do we stop or combat it, but rather on how do we become the first to have access to it. AGI is not a necessary technology. It's more than clear that the potential risks outweigh the potential positive uses. We need to close the door on these autonomous systems that are more efficient and smarter than humans. But how can we do this? Security measures for computer systems are a reality. The language models we have access to are designed and developed to refuse to help us, for example, write hate speech or plan the development of a chemical weapon. When designing a model, something known as guardrails are designed, which are security elements that prevent the model from performing certain tasks. The amount of computing power and budget required to develop these security strategies is also high. However, many of these models are publicly accessible, and having access to the programming of a language model allows it to be edited. These security strategies have been successfully removed from language models, generating malicious versions of secure models at a very low cost. Companies or developers responsible for developing secure AI spend millions of dollars on developing these models, ensuring their ethics and proper use, while a malicious actor can use a tiny fraction of that budget to take the finished model and use it for malicious purposes without any security barriers. Regulating AI is highly complex and requires many factors to be taken into account, from security measures such as limits on computational capacity for training and operation, regulation based on security levels, limiting the level of autonomy of these agents, developing containment strategies, hardware strategies, and drafting rigorous international laws and agreements to align these agents. This could be some of the measures taken to regulate them. Legislation, documentation, and comprehensive risk analysis are strategies that encompass all these measures and require international cooperation between governments and corporations to monitor and control the development of AGI. Narrow superhuman AI already exists. So, is it necessary to have a general autonomous agent? The matter is not about stopping the development of AI, but rather keeping it as a controllable tool for human use, without developing an autonomous agent that we may be unable to understand and control. This international cooperative scheme needs to start now, as developing it will take longer time than we have available to slow down the advances of AI. If we want to improve human performance, we must give humans more powerful tools, not use tools to replace us. This is everyone's problem. We must close the gates and keep the future human.